And now the conclusion of our exclusive interview with Dick Cheney. The former vice president saves some of his toughest criticism for certain White House colleagues. And as you'll see, in several cases, the political becomes personal. Once again, Jamie Gangel.
When we asked Dick Cheney to describe his memoir, he insisted
it's not a score-settling kind of book. I didn't want to get into that business.
Others might disagree. Cheney writes former CIA Director George Tenet quit when the going got tough. Says candidate John McCain offered nothing of substance at a meeting on the financial crisis. And then there's former Secretary of State Colin Powell.
The portrait you paint of Colin Powell makes it sound as if he was disloyal and undermining the administration.
Well, those are your words. I don't think I say it as harshly as you have presented it. I did feel that the State Department did not serve the president well. I would hear discussions, for example, that General Powell had objected to or opposed our operations in Iraq. But that never happened sitting around the table in the National Security Council. It was the kind of thing that seemed to be said outside to others.
You felt he was going around you?
Well, not going around me, but it didn't help the cause.
But if Colin Powell didn't help the cause, it sounds like Cheney thinks the next Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice, made things even worse.
Here are some of the phrases you use. Diplomatic failures, misguided approach, train wreck. Do you think that Condoleezza Rice was a competent Secretary of State?
I once offered Condi a job on a corporate board when I was a board member before the Bush administration ever got elected.
That's not a yes or a no. Do you think she was a competent Secretary of State?
In some regards. I didn't make the attack personal, but there were fundamental differences in policy, and I laid those out.
You also write about Condi Rice after the two of you had a disagreement. She came into my office, sat down in the chair next to my desk, and tearfully admitted I had been right. Was she crying?
She was tearful. That's what I wrote. If I'd wanted to say she was crying, I would have said she was crying.
You know that tearfully is a loaded description. For powerful women in high office, it's going to be seen by a lot of people as provocative. Could you have left that word out?
It is an accurate description of what happened and what I saw.
Rice and the others all declined to comment, except for Colin Powell. He called Cheney's assertions cheap shots and nonsense, saying, "I supported the president, I gave the president my best advice." But for all the stabs in this book, it also portrays a very different side of Dick Cheney, not to mention that he has a sense of humor.
Hello, America. I'm Dick Cheney.
Remember those undisclosed locations spoofed on Saturday Night Live?
Kandahar, Afghanistan.
Cheney and his wife, Lynn, still laugh about it.
It was a funny tape. He said I had an automatic heart.
Check it out, suckers.
And he said, this makes me invisible to radar and also brews coffee.
One of the revelations in the book is you tell some of the undisclosed locations, and we're standing in one.
Which was not all unpleasant to spend months in Wyoming.
Camp David was an undisclosed location?
Correct.
And the vice president's mansion was an undisclosed location?
Sure. And I never was in a cave in Kandahar.
Never?
Never was.
How about the coffee maker?
Coffee maker now, that's classified.
These days, his location is no secret. Cheney has traded the West Wing for the Snake River, and those private lunches with the president for bilaterals with the grandkids.
Did you do any roping?
Yeah, I did team roping in every rodeo.
These are the moments that matter most to a 70-year-old man who admits he is living on borrowed time. After 5 heart attacks last summer, Cheney went into end-stage heart failure. Doctors performed major surgery, implanting a mechanical pump that saved his life.
Could you just show me how it works?
Sure. It's got a pump inside that's tied into my heart. It's powered by batteries. They're good for about 10 hours. And when you take them out, it beeps.
Please put it back in.
Cheney knows this device is designed to be a temporary fix. One day, he'll likely have to decide whether or not to have a heart transplant. That would be enough to make most people reflect on their legacy. Not Dick Cheney.
I need to think about that one for a while. Maybe we can talk about that tomorrow.
So we did ask again, this time more pointedly.
You left office with a 13% approval rating. How would you judge your time in office?
I didn't realize it had gotten down to 13%. I don't know which poll you were looking at. I didn't do it out of a desire to be popular. You've got to be willing in this business to take the slings and arrows when they come your way. And what's important is to do what you think is the right thing to do, what needs to be done for the country, be able to look back on your time in public office with satisfaction in the sense that you did your best.
And there'll be more from Dick Cheney tomorrow on Today when he sits down with my colleague Matt Lauer for a live interview.